Hi everybody, welcome to the BDP, the Blue Devil Podcast.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Women's History Month. Because March is Women's History Month.
Speaking of Women's History Month, every single year Women's History Month has a different theme, and this year is moving forward together.
To go with that, it's like kind of hand in hand with women educating and inspiring generations.
And it's easier to work together than it would be like apart, I guess, for like this same motion of events.
It's celebrated with the colors purple, green, and white, and it's celebrated actually in October in Canada, while the U.S. celebrates it in March.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was first developed in Europe, and it also started as a week-long celebration in schools, almost like we do, like Student Faculty Week?
Yeah, like Reverend
That's really
stuff
cool.
like that.
International Women's Day is actually March 8th because in 1917 in Russia, women went on strike demanding food and demanding the end of the empire, and that is what created the day March 8th as International Women's Day.
Hi! We're going to talk about some historical figures involved in women's history.
I will start first. Dolly Parton. Everybody knows Dolly Parton. The queen of country music herself. Big hair, bold. We all know Dolly.
You picked up the accent real quick.
Dolly is known for her music and also for a book and a movie at this point. Dolly
And a musical. She has one coming out.
and a musical. Our White House parade was actually Dolly Parton
I
themed.
think so. Maybe.
I think so. It was Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, but
That's
she was
what-
in it.
Yeah, like literally every float had Dolly. So if you don't know Dolly, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Dolly World? Like, Austin, did you know that she has a vault with a song that's supposed to come out in like 50 years?
What?
Yes, and it's at Dolly World.
That's kind of crazy. No, she's got she's got really famous songs.
Yeah.
Jolene.
So she's 79 years old. She was born January 19th. Her birthday is only 8 days after mine. She's really, really world known, as I said. She's only 5 foot tall, guys.
I'm taller than Dolly Parton.
I'm taller than Dolly Parton. She's a little itty bitty thing.
I'm barely tall.
That's why she's so big, bold, and glittery.
Big, bold, and glittery.
She made her debut in January 21st of 1967, which is actually really kind of cool. And her first record was Dumb Blonde.
That's funny. Dumb Blonde. That's actually real.
And Something Fishy.
Something fishy or something fishing?
Something Fishy. Yeah.
What great name.
What
Just
great
kidding.
name.
It's Dolly. You can't bash her.
So I recently went to Sumner Acts, and then this wonderful teacher, he was telling me about a story about Dolly, and he was telling me about how he got backstage tickets and he went behind like the Grand Ole Opry and got to sit in the private section. And she was real calm. He didn't notice it was Dolly at first, and then as soon as they said her name, she popped up, and she's this glittery, bold, bright personality person.
I love her so much.
I do too. You gotta love her. You can't not. She's poor when she was little. That's why. What is that song called?
95?
Jacket of Many Colors.
Oh, something like that. Yeah.
It's something like that. Hold on. But she has a movie called Coat of Many Colors, and it was basically where they got rags and her mama made her this bright coat. And yeah, it's a sad movie, but that's how Dolly came to be.
I love Dolly.
I love Dolly. We love you, Dolly.
I'm going to talk about Amelia Earhart. She's one of my biggest, I love her so much. I'm like the biggest Amelia Earhart fan. When we were you know how in 3rd grade we had to do the wax museum?
Yes.
She was who I dressed up as because I love her story. She was the first woman to fly alone across I think it was Atlantic, correct?
Yeah.
Atlantic Ocean. She was one of the most famous women pilots. Well, one of the famous, she paved the way for women pilots. Sadly, she disappeared over the middle of the ocean, and nobody knows what happened to her. But didn't recently they say they found, not recently, but
in 2020 they said that they found
stuff,
remains.
but it wasn't her.
Yeah.
It was they found
Her
plane
plane.
stuff.
Queen Elizabeth II. She's very world known as well. Sadly, people made her into an internet meme. I don't know why, but especially like right after her death, that was really messed up. Like, guys.
Oh, did you know when Wicked was performing in London after the Queen died, like they had to like come out and say a spiel right before they were like, the remaining, like the show will go on as planned and nothing has to correlate with it, because the opening number goes, good news, she's dead. The wickedest witch is dead. So they had to
God, I forgot about
yeah,
that.
they had to make an announcement that was like, this has nothing to do
This
with
has
anything
nothing
going
to do
on
about
right
Queen
now.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, that was really, I saw that video and then it like cut straight to the good news, she's dead.
Oh my gosh, that's
pretty
so
bad.
vile. But she is the one of the most known queens of our day.
Mhm.
But now it's what is his name? George. Oh, this is bad. I'm going to Europe. She recently died in 2022.
Yeah, something around that time. It was 22 because it was while I was in Legally Blonde.
Yeah. She died in 2022. She was married to Prince Philip. He sadly died a year before she did. She lived to be 96 years old.
Oh wow.
Right. She was 5'4".
Okay, the queen of, she's taller than me.
She's taller than me too, girl. She was Commonwealth Realms from February 6th of 1952 until her death. She was queen of 32 sovereign states during her lifetime and was a monarch of 15 realms.
That's kind of crazy.
That is. Like, what?
Long live the queen.
Long live the queen!
I will be talking about Emily Dickinson, the famous American poet. Often in times in school, you'll be forced to read her poems, but don't worry, forced is a strong word because they're actually really, really good poems. It's actually thought she was a big recluse. Like, she hardly left her house. And she did have a garden. That's one of my favorite fun facts. Because a lot of the things that she writes about, like her garden, like where it says like she's writing about a garden, I believe, in my opinion, I think it's her own garden she writes about.
Yes, I love
But-
that.
She was a loner. She didn't leave her attic. I think she lived in the attic.
I think so.
Yeah. She didn't leave her house if she didn't live in the attic. She didn't leave her house. But it was rumored that she was a lesbian. Yeah, a lot of her poems would write about her best friend, and they were roommates. If you
And
get
they
what
were
I'm saying, they were
roommates.
roommates, definitely. A lot of her poems are about love. So she talked about, what does it say? Spirituality, nature, death, gender, and social conventions. Oh, it says she did not have a spouse. She did not have a husband. But it was definitely rumored that she had relations with a woman.
Oh.
Because, well, not confirmed, but she would write about it a lot. Okay.
Rosa Parks was born on February 4th of 1913. She sadly passed away on October 24th in 2005.
What?
That's
Wait, that was only 2 years before I was born.
20 years ago.
He's right, 20 years
He's
ago.
right. She was 92.
Dang. I didn't realize, like, our timelines overlapped that much.
Right? Her spouse was Raymond Parks. Rosa Parks was a civil rights activist. She was also a dressmaker and a secretary.
Oh,
Oh.
seamstress.
Okay, I see you, Rosa Parks. She was also a human rights activist along with the civil rights. Rosa Parks was part of the Montgomery bus boycott. She basically told them, no, I'm not getting up because I have every right as you do.
Another historical author who happens to be a woman is Miss Jane Austen.
Oh.
She is known for her 6 novels. Crazy. What are they? Her works include Northanger Abbey, Mansfield Park, and Emma. She explored themes about women's independence, marriage for economic security, and social standings. She was born in December 16th, 1775, and died July 18th, 1817. Oh, she died due to Addison's disease. She's actually a British author. She's not an American author, British author.
We love British authors.
I don't think she had a spouse or children on this. It just says siblings and parents. So, oh, Jane Austen wrote Pride and Prejudice. That's literally her
Yes.
biggest novel. She wrote Pride and Prejudice. So inspirational. She inspired women's independence back in the day like that, because that was not normalized back when she was alive, and especially not in Britain back then. So, go you for being an inspiration.
Next, we have Helen Keller. Most people know Helen Keller because she was one of the only people,
Yes.
one of the very few that was blind and deaf. She is an inspiration because didn't she fly a plane with assistance?
Mhm.
Yeah, she flew a plane. She also, she had a lot of books actually. The Story of My Life, Teacher, and Civilian Macy, 3 Days to See, Optimism, The World I Live In, Light in My Darkness, 3 Days to See, A Rare Recording of Helen Keller, and then The Open Door is all the books that she has about her. There's movies about her too. She was born on June 27th of 1880 and died June 1st of 1968. She was 87 years old. She was born in Alabama. She was a political activist and a peace activist.
Somewhere in the U.S., I don't know where right now. I think it's in her hometown. They put on a play actually.
I
Have
know what
you
you're
seen
talking
that?
about. Yeah, I've seen it on
Because
TikTok.
they have like a little girl act out as Helen Keller too, and like it's really cool.
And it's
Because
a
I saw
well.
them in a parade too. Like they
Nice.
did in a parade, but they put on a play of her life story, and I think that's really cool. I want to see it.
I think it is in her hometown.
I mean, that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up is Joan of Arc. I love Joan of Arc so much.
Yes.
She is an inspiration. She came to her kingdom and was all like, hey, yo, she's French. Yes, she's French.
Yes, she is.
She came and she was like, hey guys, I've got a premonition from God saying that I need to fight or else y'all are gonna lose.
Right.
And obviously they didn't believe her because she was a woman, especially back in like medieval times, which I think is when she was. But they took a chance on her, and guess what? She literally led the French to victory.
Exactly.
Hello.
Women's power.
Women power. Oh, but they burnt her. Why did they burn her? I don't know. But she's super duper cool. She did all that cool stuff. She went on and she was like, she's 5'2". I'm the same height as Joan of Arc, guys. Yeah, she was a peasant, thought that she had divine movement, and they were like, you're a woman. But guess what? She led them to victory. So she's super cool. They shouldn't have denied her because she's a woman, and they definitely shouldn't have burned her on the stake.
That's why
But
did they do that?
Could you imagine how many like young girls she inspired in her time? Because like all of them see her and they're like, oh my gosh, she's
I
cool.
can do that.
She's a woman. I can go fight.
Harriet Tubman. She was born on. Oh, it doesn't say her birthday. It just says March of 1822. So it's a no. But she died on March 10th of 1913. She is a civil rights activist, and she helped over 70 enslaved people escape on the Underground Railroads. Everybody's learned about her in like 7th grade, right?
Yeah. There's a movie about her actually now.
Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo plays Harriet Tubman.
I know.
You guys should watch it.
Definitely.
I love
Watch it. She had one child, Grady Davis, and she had a lot of siblings. And I mean a lot of siblings.
Oh my gosh.
There's 7 here that I'm counting, and it has a more category.
More?
She was a writer, a nurse, a spy, and a social activist. That's cool.
That's like a lot. That's like, imagine being able to do all that.
Her full name was actually Armida Rose.
Oh, that's so pretty.
That has a good ring to it, Armida Rose. She almost died when she was 13. She suffered a traumatic injury that almost killed her when a 2-pound weight missed its intended target and hit Tubman in the head instead.
Really?
So she survived through that and then helped 70 enslaved
get it,
people.
girl. Get
Like,
it, girl.
get it.
Next up, I was talking about Anne Frank. Everybody knows who Anne Frank is. She is the girl who wrote in the diary up in her attic. She was born on June 12th, 1929, and she died in 1945. She was a Jewish girl. She kept a diary while she was hiding in her attic with her family and one other family. During the Nazi persecution, she went through literally her everyday life hiding in the attic. Like, that must have been terrifying. There's a play on her. We almost did that.
Yeah.
The diary of
there
Anne
is.
Frank. Oh, and she called her diary Kitty. Oh my god, that's just a little girl. Stop, I'm gonna
She's just
cry.
a baby. Oh my
And
God.
she gave it a personality. She like named it Kitty, gave it a personality so she could have a friend. That's so sad.
Oh, that's
but if she
so
hadn't
sad.
written in that diary, we wouldn't know anything. Like,
Right.
she's so smart for like also like using it to help her get through it, but also like to document it. You know what I mean? Like, we would not know anything about like her whole situation or like even that side of stuff if she hadn't written it down. Her full name was Annalise, but Anne was her nickname. it got rewritten for publication. Oh, for her 13th birthday, she received a red and white checkered notebook and immediately wanted to use it for a diary. You can still visit the Anne Frank house to this day. It's up as a site, and also, I believe there's a segment for her in the Holocaust Museum. There's a section about her. The Holocaust Museum is a good thing to go visit. It was very, very sad, but it was very, very worth it. It was very educational. But yes, Anne Frank gave us that whole side of things that we never would have seen if she never wrote in that diary.
Also, if you are wondering what the Holocaust Museum is, there is a virtual tour online.
I think a really important story specifically from Disney is Mulan, because even though like she was a woman, she wasn't representing herself as a woman when she did go to the war. She had to pretend to be someone else to ultimately prove herself as like an outstanding person. Like she could do these things that the men wanted to do, and her father couldn't go to the war, so she had to step up, and she had to like be someone else to do that. And I think it really just highlights that like you shouldn't have to do that. She should have been allowed. She should have been allowed to do the things, but she couldn't because she was a woman. And I feel like Mulan is a really good story that highlights like, yeah, even though like that's how it was back then, it shouldn't be like that now. And we should have those opportunities to take place of those before us, you know?
Because like by the end of the movie, like of course like she poses a man, but like by the end like they all found out she's a woman and they were like, wow, she's amazing because she is, not because she's a woman or a man, because that's just who she is, and she's just like great and like powerful by herself.
And like going to like back then, especially where the story was set, it was really dangerous for Mulan to like dress up as a man and go serve. Like that was such a dangerous thing for her to do, but she did it for her father. And it's like just because she was a woman doesn't mean that she couldn't do it. She just had to find a way. And I feel like that's like a big thing in like feminism, is it's not that we can't do it, it's that we have to find a way.
Another one is Moana. Basically about a girl named Moana. She goes off and basically just does like what her heart wants her to do. Like Moana from a young age was like lives on an island, and her parents and her family always like had these certain customs, but she always had like a true telling of like what she deeply wanted to do inside, and then she set out and did it. And of course with like the help of Maui, but in general like she was the one that restored the heart of Te Fiti. She's the one that did like the main work because she had like the power to do so and chose to do it. So
I feel like it really proves that you genuinely do have to do really hard things that people tell you that you cannot do to get the goals that you need. Or not get the goals, but get the
results.
Yes, results. I feel like if you want to get things done a certain way, you have to go through hard things.
And like do it yourself.
Exactly. And like as women, we've had to prove ourselves year and year and year again. Are we capable of this? Are we capable of that? Is someone better? Who isn't? And I feel like these stories really tell like, yes, we have to prove ourselves, but like there will come a time where we won't have to. And I feel like that's what's really important about these is like making it better for the future woman, you know?
And also that's perfect for the movie Hidden Figures, which is basically about a black woman working in NASA, and she's working among a bunch of very unkind white men who don't really appreciate her. They don't kind of acknowledge her at all.
This was also the high of segregation. So black people were really just like looked down upon, and like yes, she earned her job at that station. She went through the hard things, but she was still looked down upon, and then she finally snapped.
And regardless of how smart she was, like they still discriminated toward her, and eventually she got higher in power because she like was genuinely very smart, and like it didn't matter what her like race was, what gender she was
excelling.
Like she was just good.
Instead of movies, so like more in the like theater aspect of things, everybody or mostly everybody knows what Legally Blonde is.
It's a movie too, but basically Legally Blonde is about a blonde it's like this stereotypical like,
we're gonna put a picture right here.
It's like this stereotypical white girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, like
me.
Like you wouldn't think, the dumb blonde basically aspect. It's like you would think that she's not that smart, that she's just like
she's a
stupid,
bimbo.
a bimbo. Like she just doesn't try, like whatever. And she's
ultimately that's why her man leaves her.
But then she proves him wrong, not just for him, but for herself too, because she has a dream to go into law, to go into Harvard, and she accomplishes it. Like, she tries so hard. Like, she literally gives everything. She studies, she like works out, like she's like amazing. And then she gets like into Harvard for law, like the one of the hardest schools to get into, for one of the hardest things to like go into. And she does all that and proves everyone wrong, because like it doesn't matter if you're a woman or not. Like, you can still do literally anything like that you put your mind to, and she did. So
I think it was, for me, it was more about her like proving it to herself that she could do it.
yeah,
Because she could prove it to herself. Like, everybody was telling her, like, you're a dumb blonde, you're not capable of this, like, you
Yeah.
could never go to Harvard, like,
Yeah.
you Harvard Law.
yeah.
And, like, maybe, like, a part of her, like, started to believe that herself. And she was just like,
You know what?
like,
Prove
I don't
people wrong.
know, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, like, after you prove it and you put the work in and nobody else helps you, I feel like that really just shows you, wow, like, I went through all that for a reason.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like the highlight of every single one of these is we went through it for a reason.
Yeah.
There's always a reason.
Yeah.
Even though it might be hard, there's always like a good outcome at the end of it.
Yeah, like either personal, like a personal reason, like you want to do it for yourself, or you want to do it for like the people that you love or whatever. Like, you can still try and succeed regardless of what gender you are or who you are. Like, as like a woman, like you can do it if you put your mind to it, regardless of what other people say. Another one of my favorites is Little Women. It is a movie, it is a book, it is a show. Like, it has been adapted a couple times, in movie wise, with my favorite actor, Timothée Chalamet. Oh, I love that man. Okay, but yeah. So basically, Little Women is about this one girl named Jo. Jo wants to be a writer, and it's set in the time, I think like it is set in 1860. I was right the entire time. Okay, basically it's about a writer named Jo. She wants to be like a famous writer. Like, she wants her work to be published, but because she's a woman and the publicist, like the guy that she's trying to publish it to, doesn't take her seriously. Like, he thinks that whatever writing she made is like not interesting, and she wants to write more pressing matters, more like things other than just like love and happiness. She wants to write about heartache and heartbreak, but he doesn't like that, so he like doesn't really acknowledge her, like think anything of her. And basically it's like her going through her life as a writer and her figuring out how to like, how do I say this? It's like her figuring out herself, and like the fact that she doesn't have to please other people to be herself. And that's the same with like all of the sisters that she has, because there's 4 sisters. They all have different storylines. I love Little Women, if you can't tell. I'm sorry, that was like a 3-minute talk of me just ranting. I love that movie. Watch it.
Watch.
What's up, guys? It's just Holden here. If you haven't noticed already, it's spring break, so go get your break on, I guess. Enjoy the time off of school. Don't forget, April 17th, 18th, 19th is our show, Almost Maine, so be there. Celebrate spring break, I guess. Bye.
Anyway, that's it for this week's episode.
Peace out, Devs.
Jolly.
Oh,
9 to 5.
He's back in Nashville.
Okay.
She named her movie.
Stop doing that.
What is he doing?
He
Hey!
keeps going. I hope she's the third. If she's
She's
not
a second. She lived. Bro. She
don't fan it.
Fan it back to yourself. Stand up, Jerry. It's French.
French. Obviously, they didn't let them, but like.
Okay, pop off, queen.
Another one is Moana. Moana.
Oh, is that recording?
No.
No.
dream guest on my
Students and
podcast?
teachers, please excuse this announcement. I need Vincent